We are live. Let me just make sure I see it on the actual YouTube channel. Bear with me. But one by one, everyone can start introducing themselves.
Who going
Okay,
first?
so we can start with Gazi. You can start. Well, you know what?
I'm
Ladies
gonna go.
first.
I'm gonna go last. It's y'all space. I'm gonna go last.
Yeah, ladies first. Um, well, you okay. So Brianna, you can go first.
I had, excuse me, I'm eating sunflower seeds. Hey guys,
Okay.
I'm 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 Brianna. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Next.
Okay, I'll go. I am Tia. I'm currently residing in Brooklyn by way of St. Louis, Missouri. I am a recording artist, actress, yada, yada, yada. Um, and I'm ready to get to the meat and potatoes now.
Okay. Who do we have next?
I'm Aja. I'm from Rockland County, and I'm sleepy right now. Hi,
Right.
Brianna.
Hey Ajane, what's your tea?
I'm Pamela Roxanne. I have a podcast, the Pamela Roxanne Show, and I tell jokes.
Oh, so give us a little joke before we get into this deep convo.
Oh, you don't want my nasty, filthy, slut, gutter butt humor. You don't want that.
Well, give us a little snippet.
You don't want none of that.
Well,
Well,
give us a little plug in. Let us know what your show's about. Well,
oh,
give us a little
I
what they
interview
can hear on your show.
I interview different people of interest, like people in the show business. I would love to have you on there, Gazi. I am a fan. I did not know you were coming. Um, Anything, and I talk about anything. I tell stories from my crazy life. I went hooking with a midget one time. I fought a chicken. I grew up on a farm. It's just a lot of stuff. It's a comedy special coming out. Big dick energy, y'all. Stay tuned. It's
Okay,
coming.
okay. I appreciate that.
Okay. Okay. So okay, big dick energy. So everyone, it's me, Ashley, Ashleen. I feel like y'all know who I am.
Yes,
Um,
ma'am.
I'm always behind the control room and trying to bring together our voices, queer people of color, trans people of color. So and last but not least, we have the infamous.
Hey y'all, Black Power,
Hey.
y'all. My name's Gazi, and I am a huge Ashley Breed fan. I would
Oh,
not have
we're
been
not gonna get
alone or
into that. You're not
on.
spooking my
No,
age.
I'ma do this. I'ma do this, girl.
I'm
I've been
1 year
following
older
you
than
since
you. Don't do
MySpace.
me.
You feel me? You feel me? I've been following you
They
since
don't know what
MySpace.
MySpace is. Okay. All right.
I
All
was
right.
there.
So,
They would look in the archives, the museums.
Right, I was there in the fields. I remember.
so Gazi, please drop your
Yes.
let them know what you do, some of your work.
Okay, so I fight for Black power, anti-colonialism to destroy white power, capitalism, imperialism, which oppresses all Black and colonized people. And so I'm here today due to the invite of my sister Ashley Breed, who has paved the way for a bitch like me.
Mhm.
All right, so we're gonna get straight into it. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me, and those that are watching, please, we are watching your comments. So go ahead, drop the comments. So for those that do not know, Malik Yoba is a Black actor that was really popular in the 90s when he was on a show called New York Undercover, which a lot of people are making jokes alone by him being on a show called New York Undercover in the 90s.
Yes.
And that was the time where he was undercover.
Word.
So, he was most recently known for being on Empire. And I actually enjoyed his character, and I was gagging that he got killed off. But anyways, recently he made a post on Instagram telling his followers and his fans that he has attraction for he's trans attracted, which a lot of people find the term trans attracted offensive nowadays. I definitely want to know what you girls think about that. Um, does anyone in here find trans attracted the term offensive?
Who wants to go?
Who,
Well,
who finds it offensive?
I'll go first. I personally don't find the term trans attracted offensive, but I can understand why some people in community prefer trans amorous, because I feel like it is, you do want somebody that wants you beyond the physicality. You want somebody that is attracted to you but sees you for like a partner, or they're intentionally wanting to put their life with yours and build. So I see why people want to evolve to the word of trans amorous. But personally, I like trans attracted. I feel like trans attracted is fairly new, but I'm open to terms changing at this point, because a year or two ago we didn't have anything to really describe the kind of men that were attracted to us. So I'm not offended either way. I'm open to continuing the conversation and settling on something that makes everybody feel comfortable.
Brianna, how old are you?
30.
30. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Aja, how do you feel about the term trans attracted? Does it bother you?
There's a lot of things that bother me, but I don't think that when it comes to the Black DL community, they don't care. What bothers me are their actions towards trans melanated women of color. You can be attracted, and you can claim, allegedly, you can claim that you can have all the love that you want for transsexual women of color, but it is your actions. Now, my question is for Malik. Where was he when all of the girls started coming missing and thousands upon thousands of Black transsexuals wound up killed? It's their actions. Where was he when gender was being signed, and when I was at the Capitol for 7 hours a day? Where were those efforts then? And why does he have to wait until he's 50 years old, bald and graying? And I'm not trying to fling any mud, but I'm just going to call it for what it is. Where was he when these girls are hurt? And where is he? And I feel that trans attracted men now, I'm tired of the center and the focus being around trans attracted men when they don't care about trans women, when they only care, and it is a fetish, because if it wasn't a fetish, why aren't they dating a sex change? Why aren't they dating somebody who's had their SRS? So I look at the actions of most trans attracted men when they ask how big is it? Does it work? Does it shoot? Does it do all of these things? And they don't talk about their actions, and they only see the body part. And even though right now, what I totally see from Malik right now is damage control, especially when he went on the Breakfast Club, because of the past record and past experience, it hasn't been so jovial. It hasn't been so good for the girls, because they have enabled Black cisgender men. And I hate to say this, because I know it's not every single Black cisgender man who is heteronormative, but they trigger me. They trigger me. Actions that trigger me. And I ask the Black DL community, what has your realness done for you? Because I know it hasn't done a lot for Black transsexuals and transsexuals who are melanated. You tell that to Malaysia Booker's family. You tell that to Amanda Milan, who has died many years ago. The young, beautiful girl that passed away, who was killed. She didn't pass away, she was murdered. 17 years old, she was shot. Where are their actions then? Where was their help when I was there by myself trying to beg Senator Breslin to get fucking gender passed? I get very emotional about that. Just because you're trans amorous and just because you are attracted to the girls doesn't make transsexuals of color any safer. And these so-called men and these so-called down low men have to do a lot more than just be attracted. And I'm tired of the narrative being centered around cisgender men that want to come out, especially with Reese Willoughby, when the receipts are that he could have killed his girlfriend. And even his girlfriend admitted that he tried to kill her. That's why she got ghosted and left. She would have been one more statistic. She could have been one more girl that could have died. I ask these men that are so into the girls, what has your realness done for you? And we're going to need more than just your lust for us. Fuck a love, fuck your attraction. You just have lust for us. because you're not there for the vigils. And I don't wanna hog up your shit because I'll get too emotional about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's bullshit.
Okay, Aja.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I know. I see you're getting emotional. I don't want you to get worked up because we haven't even got into half of the conversation yet.
Sorry,
Um,
girl. Sorry, girl.
But
so,
I
so Malik Yoba, he decided to get on the Breakfast Club, which has a history of, saying some ignorant things, and they a lot of people felt that him coming on the show and having Carmen Carrera, who is a trans Latina, and he had a gay man of color. I think he's part of an organization, a queer organization. I think, is it a gay organization or is it a queer organization? Because
Something
that's
along those
real
lines.
too. Sometimes it's
yeah,
different.
it's
Uh,
not. It's
so and then he had another black trans woman, one black trans woman that was sitting there. Her name was Nyla Simone, and I really felt like she was like, I just wanted to hear what she had to say, and I didn't really care about no one else
Yeah.
because I felt like, I mean, Carmen Carrera can represent white passing Latinx girls, but she cannot represent black trans women.
Yes.
So when we have conversations about black trans women and what we go through, and I'm not saying that because I wanted to sit there. I'm saying that because I just feel like representation matters. Some people are just taking up space because they want to get another credit on their resume. Like, you
Mhm.
don't need to be speaking. Not every gig needs to be a gig that you have to take. But from what I heard, Malik Yoba and Carmen were dating, are dating. That's what I was told from sources, allegedly. But Ghazi, I want to know, what do you think about Malik Yoba coming onto the Breakfast Club, and all the comments from black cis straight men, dogging him out, and this is a real big issue with race within the black community. What is your thoughts on that?
Who was that you said that
It's
dogged
a
him out?
loaded.
Basically the black community, they're saying that they're revoking his card. A lot of people are really they're really trashing, they're dogging him out. They're not allowing him to have this this sexual identity that's not heterosexual. Well, it's heterosexual, but they're basically judging him, saying, oh, you're not trans attracted, you're just gay. So
Right.
what does that say to other men who are tired of hiding? There's men that literally, they're like sweating because they're thinking at any moment I could be exposed. So Kazi, I would definitely want to hear what you have to say as a leader of a black organization, and you do a lot of work within the community.
Well, I first really want to unite with what Sister Aja laid out. And when I looked into the comments of that video, it's just so much violence. These people came to that video to target anybody that told them to love their own people. That panel was not the best panel. I'm gonna flat out say that panel was
No,
not
it
the
was
best
not.
panel.
Not at all.
Carmen
No, it was not.
Carrera, to me, is a white woman. Okay, that is a white woman. And just because you can be a Latinx white woman, okay, those people left Europe, went into South American countries, okay, colonized those people, those indigenous people, enslaved African people, and built identities around that. If Carmen Carrera goes to these Latinx countries, she will be treated differently than, let's say, a black woman who comes from those Latinx countries. And Carmen Carrera has been called out multiple times for being against and saying really problematic things to and about Black people, and now is being able to have a platform that's built for her by Black people. I think
That's why I was
that
flabbergasted even there.
that hip hop, R&B, all of that entire culture most of the foundation is laid out by Black trans women. And the fact that they had one Black trans woman there to speak and was made to speak the least, and then the Black, gay, cisgendered man that was there taking up so much space and being the source of knowledge is effed
because
up.
of the damage control that Aja was saying.
Yes,
He
but
was
I
really
feel
worried
like,
about his career.
yes. And like, so here he comes. Now he's attracted to Carmen and they coming out, and then they have these two Black people that they found to represent, to say certain things and all this other kind of stuff. Where, Sydney Starr that was there. I remember when Black trans women would come to that show, what's his name wouldn't even show up on that day. What's his name?
Charlemagne. Yeah.
Charlemagne wouldn't even show up on the day Black trans would be on the show.
Charlemagne has some
And I
different
really
issues
unite
with
with
him.
Aja. Like, yes, they coming out and all this other kind of stuff. And but you know, it's a choice for them, and it's not a choice for trans women of color. You know what I mean? It's a choice for them to come out. And when they come out, they are coming out still with a sense of protection, a sense of not meeting the full brunt of the violence that comes with that, and all of those kinds of things. So there's a lot more that they have to do. And I'm not here for giving applause or giving trophies or anything to him for, what did he say? Stepping up. I'm stepping up.
So Tia, thank you, Gazi. Tia, I know, we spoke, and you actually, this whole time throughout this whole ordeal, you have been actually defending Malik Yoba, and you feel like a lot of the trans girls are, um, they're giving him not enough credit. So, uh, you could actually, from your own words, tell us,
Well,
share how you feel.
I don't think that I'm necessarily defending him. I think that I was looking at the bigger picture and um what he was doing in the conversation being started. I think that first off, there is so much trauma and we have so much to unpack, that I just felt good, that I felt like it was a starting point and it got people to talking in a way that they had not been talking. And I had, men to approach me and talk to me about it, about, okay, what do I do? What do I say? And I felt that there was important for someone to put us in that light. And I don't feel like it's sad that we have to feel grateful for little things like that. And people would say, crumbs and stuff like that. But we have to start somewhere. And that was my position. And I don't feel like, and I feel like we also have to acknowledge that Black men who date us and who choose to love us also face trauma. We have to recognize the reality of what our world is and how the men who are attracted to us even had an outlet to even find us. And that was through sex work and stuff like that up into recent times. And we also have to recognize that the girls are not always innocent in situations too. And I just can relate to it, especially when I have people close to me reaching out to me, family members, and saying different things like, I like trans women. I don't want to be disrespectful. Is the term, trans attracted? And I'm just thinking about it from a Black perspective and growing up in a hood and being, from that, what these hood boys and all that stuff, they not going to take the time to learn this terminology. If one of these boys is saying trans attracted or even calling you trans, it's like they not calling you a man. And I'm not saying that that's something that we should be grateful for, but little things like that, those little things that show that they recognize us or they're starting to, we have to start the conversation. Because and I heard the comment, I just said something about Where was Malik, when this was happening and when that was happening? If he would have stepped out in those times, he wouldn't be the Malik Yoba that he is today and have that power. We already see what the black community does to people. We reject their cards. We don't accept them for living in their truth and all of that. So on some level, I feel like that we have to acknowledge or give some type of leeway. We want to be such sticklers for language and all of this stuff. When all of this language and a lot of this stuff just came about in recent years. A gay man when I was growing up that wore makeup and dresses and stuff like that. There was no term. You was just a gay man. We are on a spectrum in our personalities, in our sexualities, and everybody wants to be so defined with everything. So I just felt it was a good start that we were starting somewhere. He had people talking, it's on the radio. People are trying to understand, and I just wanted us to acknowledge that as a community.
Okay. I hear you. Pamela, do you mind leaving for a little bit and coming back so I can add one person? Because I can only do 6. So I'm gonna let Blossom come in and then I'll bring you back when she's done speaking.
Okay.
All right. I hate being like this. Like I have to pick to take someone off. Hi, Blossom. How are you?
Hey, girl.
Hey, Blossom.
Hey, how are y'all?
Thank you for joining this conversation. I want you to introduce yourself because you have you can add so much to this conversation. Blossom is a black trans activist, and she called out Charlemagne last year and protested.
It was about 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, she protested. Her and another black trans activist, Ashley Marie Preston. They ran up on Charlemagne during one of his was it a book signing or something?
Yeah, it was like an interview with MSNBC commentator. I can't remember which one, but it was at.
They ran up Marsha P. Johnson style, and they let him have it because Breakfast Club is known for like that whole I don't care is a part of erasure. You just don't care. You don't, and that's an issue. So I want you to, Blossom, to introduce yourself and basically give your take on the whole situation as someone who has once championed the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, so I'm Blossom. I'm an actress, producer, filmmaker, and activist. It's funny that you said that because I was literally looking at Felicity's live because she actually has him on there now.
Right.
Which is why I thought everybody was there. And I was just listening to him, and I think he's just talking in circles on there. Honestly, I've been still trying to unpack this because, I do think it's brave within the black community, especially the hetero black community, to see a man, stand in his truth powerfully and admit that he is attracted to trans women, all women. I have more questions now than anything. And one of those questions is, at what expense? At whose expense? Because here's the thing, trans women don't need a spokesperson. We don't need a spokesperson. And I feel like there's such a missed opportunity right now that we're shining this light on Malik, and yet we've had trans attracted men and women, to be exact, who've actually been loving us, supporting us openly from the beginning. And I'm more interested in hearing their voices. And I think that hopefully he'll get to the point where he starts bringing in more trans attracted men into the conversation and really, really breaking down those barriers and start unpacking a lot of this stuff. Um, I just, for me, I'm not in the hype of Malik, to be honest with you. I'm really not, because he's not going to be the first celebrity. He was just a celebrity that just decided to like openly come on out. Everybody else gets caught. I live in Los Angeles, for Pete's sakes. Like, I cannot tell you the amount of male celebrities who get down and it is what it is. And it's just really, really interesting how where everybody stands as far as like community is concerned. Because there are some community members that are just falling on their knees for him in such a creepy, crazy way, and then there's others, that have different opinions or whatnot. And so, honestly, I'm just still in this place where I'm just trying to unpack everything. And again, I don't want to take away the fact that he's willing to live in his truth. I don't want to take that away from a black man. I don't want to trash him. That's not what I want to do. It's about empowering and uplifting each other as black people. It's just that within the black community, trans attraction is such a different thing to unpack. Like there's so many layers to it. And I think we need to really, really get down to the point. I'm just honestly wanting to know at what expense is he willing to do all of this for?
Can I ask a question? Why I don't, and I feel again that we making it so much about Malik. It's more so about his platform and using that platform. I think that he needs to, appoint or let more black trans women speak or whatever. But nobody else could have. I ain't gonna say nobody else. Nobody else willingly could have offered the platform that he's offered, and that's the thing that we need to look at. Get that while we have that attention that he's brought and capitalize off of that. Fuck him. It's about using his platform and what he has opened up and what we can do with that.
See, I don't disagree with that. I don't. But again, I think it's so much more than just a platform. I'm sorry. I just think that there are so many other people, even though that they don't have the big platform like him, they could actually talk a better experience about it. Because at the same time, he was in the closet for so long, and so the question is like, why all of a sudden now you want to be so open about it? What triggered you? What prompted you to really come out now and to do that? Yes,
Because
you're
he's with
right.
a
I do
trans
agree with the
woman that's in
platform.
his ass. He's in a
I do agree with what you're
relationship,
saying
and the
as
girl is
far as the
saying,
platform.
"Yo."
But he's been dating trans women. And then, I heard about the Mariah Lopez Ebony story that she's saying that this man paid for sex from her when she was 13 and 16 years old. Where is her voice? Because there is a
Yes.
class
Yes.
contradiction that we must discuss. And at the end of the day, I'ma say it. Trans and transness in the trans world, it's in Hollywood. It's not in the streets. And Malik
Mm.
is going to benefit from this. He's going to
Of course.
benefit from the bodies. He's going to benefit from the murders. He's going to benefit from it because now he's seen as part of it. And you know that there's groups of white men in NBC, ABC, and all these TV stations around tables saying, they with their cigars, trans is in. We gotta find someone. We gotta put them on the TV and put them on the magazines and make the millions from it. Make the millions from it. When the masses and the rest of us and my sisters and my brothers, my trans sisters and brothers are still suffering and being slaughtered in the streets and through poverty and all that kind of stuff, just because you see this trans woman on the cover of Vogue, it don't mean nothing for the masses of black trans women around the world that are still hustling and putting their lives in danger to pay a light bill. It's a class contradiction. He has been a predator in the community. I believe her. I stand with her. I don't stand with the millionaire. I don't stand with the celebrity. I stand with this sister in her Facebook post. I stand with her. He got to answer to her. He has to answer to her.
Malik is going to be all right, and I cannot give leeway. I don't totally disagree with everything you're saying, Tia, and I don't disagree with any. What I'm trying to say is that he has privilege as a black cisgender man, a heteronormative appearing black cisgender man. He's going to be able to walk through the toughest and the roughest of neighborhoods and the whole bit, and he's going to be all right. Who's not going to be all right? I might even be all right, but then again, there were times when people were willing to shoot me and tell me I need to be shot with a fucking shotgun just for getting a tan. But who's not going to be all right? The faces here. Inner city black transsexuals, inner city feminine appearing gay men, inner city people that don't have the power and the clout and the social views and the blue check marks as their white gay counterparts that like to gentrify things. That they are not going to be all right. We are not going to be all right.
Did
I
Tia leave?
We are not going to be all right in the sense that he is marketing and profiting off of things that we are going through. People like to exploit Black transsexuals and people like to exploit melanated transsexuals of color simply for the fact of trauma porn. We are now a trend. We are not. We are no longer hiding behind a Jerry Springer stigma. We are not talk show material anymore, and so people want to use us for this TV show and that TV show and this series. So he's jumping on the bandwagon, and I see bullshit when I see it. My I don't care if he's a celebrity. I don't care about that because when there are enough voices that will override his celebrity. He is not the only one that has been within a 4 block radius of Central Avenue in Albany, New York. That's a main stroll where the girls were. He probably was up there. There were other celebrities I know that saw me that wanted some, that wanted some. There were some celebrities down there in West 14th. He is not the only one that has been down there. These men like to prey. And just by saying you are attracted does not allow you, you get no leeway from me. My trans sisters that were murdered, my girls that I knew, that I can no longer talk with, I can't kiki with, they can't get no leeway because they have no say so in the matter. We are the stronger voice. They will never understand what it's like to walk the beat in our path, not for one goddamn minute. I go by actions. I don't go by words. I don't care how much love you care. I will not be safer just because you decided to confess your love or your lust for me as a trans woman or any other girl who's transsexual or intersex or anybody that is feminine appearing. It's not good enough. You step it up.
Tia, are you there, sis?
Yeah, I'm here.
I don't want you to, Tia. I just want you to know that your opinion. I don't want you to ever feel like
No,
Uh,
girl, the connection was like I don't know why I kicked
oh,
you out. It was the
I thought
connection.
you was not
Oh
here for any
no,
critiques.
oh no, 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 no. I get it, and I don't want
She
people to
there?
feel like I feel like that. It's not that. I'm just
Is
I
she there?
yeah. Hello, can you hear
Because
me?
because she said something about like his platform earlier, but the thing is, what about a platform for already the trans attracted men that are out
Okay.
there loving us openly?
No,
Like,
I
where's their platforms? Like, bring those men in. That's when I'll start getting more interested. Bring the people who've already been loving us since the beginning of time openly. You know, this whole thing about celebrity, it's not gonna do much. Honestly, it's not gonna really do much. And I think what's so interesting is that at this trans march that's happening September 28th, he on the 27th actually, he gets to host a workshop. He gets to host a whole workshop. And it's very, very interesting to me that Malik
Oh,
comes out, he gets to come out, and now all of a sudden he gets to do that. And it's just really, really interesting to me.
But these men that we talking about, yes, they're there, and we all know that they're there. But they're are they visible? Like where are they? We're not seeing them. And don't get me wrong, I see what you ladies are saying. It's just like I just have a different passion because I work within the community. I work in youth programs, and I facilitate those groups, and I think about the future. I don't want younger girls coming up to even have to have these conversations. I don't even, I hope that we can hash this out in our generation so the girls coming behind us won't even have to deal with this shit. And so that's why I'm like, let's like take this and start and build from here. That's all I'm saying. I'm not even, it's not like I said, it's not even really about him. And sometimes I think that even watching the interview today and looking at the comments, we need to get on one accord so we can get other people to follow behind. We are not presenting a united front at all. We're spewing a lot of confusion, and we need to work that out in the community, and that's all I'm trying to say here. What do we need to, we can't even get on one accord with terms that we want to use, and things like that. People are confused by that, so we need to get in a place where of oneness so we won't be We can never beat them if a crowd of us is over here and a crowd of us is over there and some of us is back here. It's only when we come together and agree. And that's the only point that I'm trying to make. Fuck Malik Yoba. I'm just looking at this as an opportunity. And also we also have to allow these men a starting point too. Yeah, they've been fetishizing us. Yeah, they've done that, but the ones that are trying to step up, let's give them some leeway, and we have to lead them and teach them and allow them to learn before we just bashing them and beating them. The girls, like I said, we are not innocent, and we have to address our shit too. And I'm just want to come to the table so we all can heal. That's it. That's really it, and that's my point.
Well, thank you, Tia. I see. I sent a late invitation out to the problematic realist. Thanks for joining as a guest. I know you. A lot of people. You're an acquired taste, and I know you have a lot that you want to say about this. So I'll let you. I'm going to give you space.
Look at my teacup.
A little space. Oh, we can't hear you. No, we don't hear you. I'm just joking. I'm not trying her. People always everything see, and it is true. Sometimes we could be a little bit too sensitive, and we can't even joke with each other. People think that everything is abusive, everything is violent. Like, I understand violence is real in the community, but there are some people that they get triggered by a shadow. Honey, we don't hear you. Click the audio. Make sure that the mic is not muted.
Blossom.
We're Fox.
She probably tried to click out and come back in.
The tea is exceptionally good this evening.
Wow.
Okay, here we go.
Huh? We don't hear no audio, girl. Is this, you doing this on purpose to take up time?
Y'all so motherfucking messy.
The girls be coming in with all these schemes to get airtime. It's only 25 people in here.
Oh, you see your comments? They will come up in the blue.
Yeah, I see comments. Hi, everybody in the room. Someone said so there's a trans amorous man in the chat in the comments. So it's like, what do people feel comfortable saying? So we can't, if people will feel that trans attracted is problematic, what a lot of people think that they should just be, it should just be men who are attracted to women. That's it. But I feel like there has to be something we have to call it.
I mean,
No, we don't hear
different.
you. No, we don't hear you. I don't know what's going on with your audio. There's no audio.
Child, we have to say we trans. That's the thing that they saying. If we that's why they killing us, because we not saying we trans. So we can't. We have to. Yeah, we're women and all of that, but we have to. I mean, we have to. We're a special kind. It has to be acknowledged. It has to be said. There's no getting around it. Like, how can you not? I mean,
try a different device, sis. We don't hear you. I'm sorry, Tia. So, Ghazi, what was you like? The fact that Black men are killing Black trans women, what would be like? What is your take on like the reasoning? Like, why do you think it is Black women, predominantly dark-skinned Black men, killing dark-skinned Black trans women? Like, it seems to be. Yeah, that's what's going on here. Black on Black crime.
Yeah, because, well, 600 years ago, the white man came to Africa and stole our ass
Speak
and
on it.
forced us to build them countries and an economic system to sustain them. And then they taught us what the world was and what makes a man, what makes a woman, what makes a homosexual, and so forth and so forth. So a lot of the division, well, all of the division that we see in our community is actually creations and bystanders that we are doubling from them. We are getting from them because before this domination, we were able to be ourselves and love each other and all of these kinds of things. And you can see throughout the history of African and colonized people that we, as what we say now as queer people, as trans people, as gay people, we've always been here. And in a lot of societies before they colonized us, were accepted. So now you come into this reality of being a colonized Black person in America. You come into reality of being poor. You come into reality of being, you have to be this, as a Black man, you have to be this hyper masculine, strong thing, to be respected in the hood because the hood is so rough and all the kind of stuff. And you always have to prove yourself. So you gotta have, a dozen baby mamas to prove yourself, and so your masculine relationship to Black women and all this other kind of stuff. So when you are now being seen as being with a trans woman or liking a trans woman, all those kinds of stuff, that's being threatened. Your manhood, which is basically what poor working class Black men feel is their only true resource because they ain't got really nothing else. And so they feel like that's threatened. And I'm not putting them in the victim at all, because the true victims are the ones that are murdered because of it. And so we have to really see that when we do harm to when we do harm to other people in our community, especially the most isolated, sectors of our community, the most depressed sectors in our community, that is an enemy to the entire Black community. Because just like that sister said, if we are not united, then we are not strong, and we have to find a line. Either you are the oppressor or you are the oppressed. You cannot be both. When you make that decision, to me, when you make that decision to hurt, to brutalize, to harm my sisters, to harm me because of the way that I want to live or anything like that, you are no different than a pig now. You are no different than the police now. You have made that decision, and you have to face those repercussions. And until Black people, we start seeing that as the dividing line, and not our gender, not our sexuality, not any of those other things that really don't mean anything to the fact of nobody's taking, the only person that's taking food out of our pockets, out of our refrigerators and stuff like that is the oppressed. The only one that's keeping us in, poverty is white power and imperialism. And when you are deciding to put violence on us, who are basically defenseless, you are the oppressor now, and you have to be dealt in that way.
Mhm. Can I ask a question? What do we do? How do we start to heal? What do we do where we are to make the impact, to really make the changes, to do more? I don't want to complain anymore. I'm tired of complaining. I want to do something. I want to know, you know, where do we go from here? We have this attention. What can we do individually and collectively together to really bring about this change that we so desperately see? Hmm. Hello.
What was anybody want to answer?
I'll just speak on my experience,
Okay.
and only my experience, and I speak from an I statement.
Hmm.
What I have seen in over my almost about 30 years of this life of being an intersex woman of trans experience, I've seen my people of color. Even though I'm multiracial, I'm still part Black. I'm not going to take that away. But I've seen cisgender Black people want us dead. I've seen hardly anybody let them know that they are accountable, especially down low men of color. Most of them are the murderers, and nobody wants to talk about that. And when trans women try to trans women try to talk about that, other people want to center themselves around the conversation and uplift people. And it goes deeper than Malik. And you're right, Tia. Fuck that, excuse my language, but no one wants to talk about the people that are so attracted to us because they have guilt trips. They feel guilty for liking us. That's the bottom line. And until we talk about that, until people like Malik and any other celebrity or anybody else that wants to come out and talk about their violence and talk about their toxic masculinity, we're not going to form. Everybody's going to be disenfranchised. Everybody's going to be disembodied. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I like this terminology. I like that terminology. Until we talk about the stigma and until we talk about the toxic masculinity and people that feel guilty about being attracted to us and that they want to see us dead, we can't take your asses worth a grain of salt. I'm not going to uplift you. I'm not going to give you any leeway when you want to see me dead. I navigate. I don't tell people who I am and all of this. And a lot of people see me as some kind of cis woman or whatever until I talk about my life. That's just my reality. But when I do talk about my reality, some people, and I'm going to tell you with no ego, they see me as a threat, or they see me as some kind of, oh, you got light skin privilege, or, oh, I ain't know who you was until you open your mouth, and she thinks she's better. You got long hair that goes out your head. You think you better. Oh, you really a man, or your DNA is a male, and they always try to pigeonhole people, and they always try to. They don't see you for the essence of who you are, but they want you dead because they have some kind of attraction to you, or because they see you as a threat. And until people they come true, and they come 100%, and they come 100 with who they are. I will never respect them. I will never respect people that don't even have a respect for Black transsexuals and any kind of melanated transsexuals of color. The down low man to me, and I'm just gonna say it, you're the fucking enemy. You are the killer. And I look at my life. I look at me as a final girl, and we are living in a horror movie franchise.
Fox, is your audio working?
Can you hear me now?
Oh boy, yeah.
Greetings, everyone. Okay, so we are talking about the Malik Yoba and the deal problem, or are we talking about
the
Black trans women that are exposed?
Everything and
I just want to make sure we're on the same. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I don't know if I'm the best person to contribute to this because, I've experienced a lot of trauma, and I had to, have a talk with my therapist and realize where all the trauma has stemmed from. Because I think that there are three things that I should be proud of, but it has been seen as a social handicap. The first one is, well, I guess I'll tell them to you, Black trans woman. Now, depending on who you're speaking with, both of those components could be seen as powerful things. But early on in my life, I have been seeing them as negative things. The Black, first of all. I've told many people this. I saw Natalie Ever After for the first time in a couple of years, for the first time a couple of months ago, and I started crying in the middle of watching that because of the fact that I related so much to that film. I related so much to basically, going back in time and seeing the PCGA commercials or the Just For Me commercials of the Black woman trying to struggle to basically pull, comb her Black child's hair. And then all of a sudden she snaps her fingers and then, oh, silky and bouncy, just for me. And how that just really penetrated my mind into thinking that, oh, okay, well, I want to have my hair curly too.
I want to be more like what's in society. And then I think about like how I am now and why I have so much anger against society as well as um, trans attracted trash men. Um, so basically, I'm still learning. I'm still learning. I'm just now getting to the point where I'm having a source of Black pride. And even a couple months ago, like when I was going through my natural period and I started wearing my hair, and my neighbor had asked me, "Oh, you better put a wig on, girl. Get that nappy shit up." And I'm like, "No, I'm showing my Black pride." And then I started noticing that it started affecting my money. So then I said to myself, "Okay, I can't be Black pride now. I'm gonna have to get a little bit more self-esteem." But little components like that, I definitely feel that they affect where I am now and why I have so much source of trauma when it comes to this topic of Black trans or just trans attracted men, because of the fact that I'm starting to realize now that when it comes to a Black trans woman, most guys that are trans attracted, especially white men, they don't see a pretty Black girl. They see a body part. They see BBC. And you could be talking about the most intelligent conversation and trying to really make a connection. Yeah, I think that's very violent of what you're saying. Blah, 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 blah. BBC, big black cock. That's all he's hearing. That is all he's hearing. And that's all he's seeing when it comes to Black bodies. And I think that is where I get a lot of anger from, because of the fact that you're not respecting me as a trans woman. You're not even respecting me as a person. I'm just some big old BBC to you. So I'm kind of on the fence right now when it comes to trans attracted men, because I commend Malik Yoba for what he's doing, but at the same time, and they said this on the Breakfast Club, we shouldn't be commending people for doing something that they've already should have done or that they should be doing naturally. There's been a lot of trauma that has happened. There's going to be more trauma that's going to happen. And as I've said this before, Black trans attracted men they're in a position of power that they don't even realize. And they're sitting there on the sidelines and just sitting there waiting and watching and spectating. And it just makes me so angry. Like, and the ones that make me, sometimes I go back and forth on, like, do I hate the Black trans attracted men more, or do I hate the white trans attracted men more? Because both of them have two different sources of power. You have the power to basically hire me in this job or so, but no, you want to stagnate me and keep me on the side as your little BBC secret. Then you have the Black man that basically you'll bring the Latina, the white girl, the mixed girl, the Brazilian girl, every other girl, but the Black girl, you'll respect. You want to play in my face. You want to come over and leave me with nothing but an ass full of cum and a mouth full of cum and nothing to show for it.
I want to co-sign
it's just
that.
basically a lot of trauma.
Yes. No,
And,
you're telling the truth. You're really telling the truth on that. And I want to say this though, because we were talking about race.
And the Black ones are the ones that make it the worst, because of the fact that you're treating me like this because I'm Black and you're Black.
But see, I'm Black and non-Hispanic. So let me say this. I'm Black and non-Hispanic because living in LA, anti-Blackness runs extremely high.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is, I kid
you will have someone as dark. You'll have someone as dark as Wesley Snipes saying that he's Indian, Brazilian, and then Black.
Yeah. Because the thing about it is, here, people think I'm Afro-Latina, and I'm not. I'm not. And, no shade to anyone who is or whatever, but I will say, the minute that I tell people that I'm Black, non-Hispanic, I get treated like shit. And it's so crazy to me. And it's so interesting because I feel like it's all about peeling back the layers and discussing the isms, like the racism, the colorism, all of these different things. And it's so interesting. And I'm really curious to know, going back to Malik's situation, like who is the trans woman he's dating? Because the thing is, if she's a white woman, if she's a Latina woman, I can already hear that conversation rolling from black trans women. Oh, is black love becoming obsolete? I can hear that conversation rolling because
Well, people
Black
have
love has
they're
been obsolete for
bisexual,
quite some
but
time.
yeah,
Blossom
but they're
allegedly
bisexual. Allegedly.
he's dating
He's
Carmen
dating
Herrera.
Carmen Carrera because this is an opportunity for her to step
Okay,
into the limelight.
right. And so the
And
thing
she's
is, I
Latina.
Exactly.
so the thing is, I don't know. I've met Carmen only once, and so I don't know her like that. We have mutual friends or whatever, but the thing is, I can already hear that conversation going. Like, black celebrities have this tendency of dating outside of their race. And I've actually heard this across all spectrums, especially the bisexual football player that just came out, hearing from black gay men about how black love is becoming so obsolete that he's got to be with a white man. Just today, Doja Cat, they just dragged Doja Cat, who's a rap artist, who's biracial, for dating a white man. Like, that's how our conversations are starting to go within the black community. And we got to start talking about these different things or whatever.
I
We
think
really,
it
really
has
start
a lot to do. It has a lot to do with unlearning what we have learned.
Yes.
I saw an interview of Jadinia on the Breakfast Club, and he was talking about how he went to Africa and he stayed there for a while, and he
Who?
was saying that
Zendaya.
Jindaya, I'm sorry.
Oh,
And he was
okay.
speaking of like if he was raised out there, his mindset would have been different. And I think about that myself sometimes because of the fact that the way I was brought, I was always the
Wait,
token
Aja,
black
why are
kid.
you cracking up? What happened?
I love my box.
No, I was just saying that I was always, huh?
Oh, I love you so much. I love you so much. Why you keep making me laugh, Miss Big? I'm sorry.
Okay. But I think growing up, I was always the token black kid. And I started to realize very soon, even growing up in black schools and things of that nature, of like lighter was always the more sought after and everything. And unlike the other people, been raised in the South, the epitome of like, when it came to guys, the epitome of like, I guess like what most girls were attracted to was the light skinned guy or whatever. I did not too much gravitate to them, but they gravitated toward me. And I think I'm still dealing with this myself because of the fact that, whenever I come across a light skinned guy or so like that, I have this perception that he's the devil. That first of all, you have this privilege and then you think that you're all that. And I have to bring you back down to earth and let you know that you're just as much of a nigger as I am. So
Period.
basically I have to really control that anger because of the fact that that is one of the first things that I screw out. And people always say, "Oh, you're racist among yourself." I say, "I'm not a racist among myself." I have been told by various sources of black folks, especially black men, you were put here as a weapon from the white man. You were put here to weaken the strong black man, from his black queen. And I'm like, oh, okay. So what about the strong black man that's sleeping with him and that's taking him from his black queen? Why? What about the strong white woman that's taking him? Why am I the problem? Oh, and then that makes me want to disassociate from my race because most people have said the same person will say, "Oh, yeah, you're a disgrace to the blacks." But this is not a disgrace. This is not a disgrace. Oh, they will do this all day, every day. I mean, so where's the
What was
real
that
problem
book?
at?
What that say?
Huh?
What was
What
that?
they
What
say,
was it? You
Big?
moved too
Why
fast.
black men love white women. And it just talks about the psyche. It goes
Why do
really
you
deep
have
into the
that
psyche.
book?
Huh?
Why
Because
do
she
you have
studied,
that?
girl. She do research.
Oh, I had that book because it's just I like to read a lot, and that was just a book that I came across years ago, and I said to myself, you know what, I want to read this, and I really started to get into the psychology of like how black men will place every other woman, every other
I
person
wonder if a
on a
white woman wrote the
pedestal.
book.
And it's mostly African American men that have this
Check
psyche.
and see who wrote the book. Check and see who's the author.
Honey, we
I
gotta
want to
get
see
more
if it's
wine for this.
Susan something.
You see it?
Who's the
that
author?
wine, girl.
Tell us. Read it.
Oh, it says Regine Persuade, something like that.
That could go
I
either
don't
way, black
sound.
or white, Regine.
Yeah.
Mm.
But
So
I really want to unite with what you said, sis. Like, you right, because, like, how many black trans women did he run over before he met Carmen Carrera and now wants to come out? Respects her to the point where he wants to come out, but didn't respect the other ones before, the melanated ones before, the ones that are calling him out before. You
he
know what I
didn't
mean?
respect me enough
And
when he came over
we
here and
also have
reached
a
me.
culture in, like,
You know, he said he wanted a relationship and things of that nature. And see, one of the things, this is not about putting
Wait,
anyone on
Fox, can you
blast.
turn your camera, please, to the right?
The right?
Yeah, you're sideways.
Okay.
And repeat what you said because we couldn't hear you.
I said,
No, you
I said
turn it all the way around.
all the way around.
You're sideways. Your whole
What about
camera
now?
sideways. We need to see the different.
My camera sideways.
Okay, that's better.
There you
That's
go.
better.
There you go.
Okay,
Okay.
great. Now go ahead.
I was saying that he didn't respect me enough to come over here with at least, you know, something, you know, a 12 piece of KFC chicken or something like that. You know, he wanted to feed me lies and say, oh, I'm looking for a relationship and things of this nature. And, you know, it's not about being a prostitute. It's not about like having, you know, it's about bringing something to you. Because whenever you come into someone's space, you're sharing their energy. You're taking something. You're taking energy away from me. You know, I'm taking energy away from you. And when you come over under false pretenses, you know, that's basically energy stealing. So you've been energy stealing for like over like 2 decades since New York Undercover has been on, and now it's convenient for you to come out. Now, great, that's great and everything, but the fact of the matter is that why is it that you can't put these black women that you've stolen their energy from, you know, that you've 3 generations of black trans women that you have sucked up and suckered out of, you know, believing that you're the trade, you know, and that is where the problem comes in. That's the problem with trans attracted men. Period. Oh, I don't pay for sex. I don't pay. No, you don't pay for sex, but you take from sex. You take my energy. You take everything good about me away. So instead of getting this girl that's naive, you know, now you've gotten this evil petty bitch that when I see you, when, and I'm not talking about Malik, period, but you know, I've told this to some men that I have so much anger pinned up against you that I would probably literally take you to my hometown in Birmingham, Alabama, to a Trump rally and leave you there and say that it's something else because of the fact that all this anger that I have, I don't know what to do with it.
Okay.
So, Tia, you've been kind of quiet. Did you have anything to say?
Child. Okay, I mean, just a few things. Okay, so we go and we say that men look at us as fetishes and all of this, but we need to address the reality as trans women have our images are so sexual. I think that historically, like, we promote like our whole being, like, you know, the way we dress, the way we move, the things we do. We've been so sexualized, and I think we sexualize ourselves in a lot of instances, because if you, I know, I've seen girls that every time I've never seen them without seeing their cleavage, or I've never seen them without being overly sexual or presenting this overly sexual thing. And we have to also admit that there are a lot of trans women out there, you know, especially younger ones who are just coming into the lifestyle, who do all these things for these men, and they, you know, it there's a lot going on within the community, and there's a lot of people who are doing the things who are that's damaging our community. There's a lot of drugs in the community. There's a lot of crazy sex going on, and it's just as much as there's tranny chasers. The girls chase the trade too. So I'm just saying there's a lot of things that we have to address, and we have to address how we've gotten to this place. What is this? What's going on?
I think we need to stop playing the blame game. I think we should start asking the questions of why the girls are doing drugs, why the girls are chasing trade.
I mean, I get all of that. I get that. But I'm just saying, acknowledging it.
We
I'm
should
just,
start asking, like, why is
I
it that
know,
my
I
black
know
trans
why
life
it
only
is.
matters when I'm dead?
Thank you.
There's drugs, and I know why there's sex work. I acknowledge that a lot of people have absolutely no choice, and it's survival, and it's just the way of life. I also understand that historically,
Well, if we were to
trans
go that, if we were to
But
go
doing
that route,
drugs and
no,
wearing cleavage does
wait,
not mean that you get to disrespect and
I'm
murder
not, and
people.
I'm not saying that it
I
is,
think
but what
no.
I'm saying is
Piggybacking
that
off of that, I want to know why other people within our community don't acknowledge the murders of Black trans women. That's what I'm really curious to know about. Why are
Can you
some of
say
these
that
other,
again? Let me turn this
yeah,
fan down.
why don't other groups within our LGBTQ spectrum don't acknowledge the deaths of Black trans women? It's very,
Because
very
they don't
interesting.
see us as human beings. They don't
Didn't
see
Exactly.
that
black
didn't that
transsexuals as
organization
human beings, and you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. If you show body, you're a slut, and you're shamed for it. Not saying that Miss Tia is doing that. She's just speaking. That's her narrative. She's speaking. However,
Right,
there's a
right.
lot of people that shame you. You can't. If a woman wears a weave or she's got a unit, okay, she's trying to be white. If she goes natural, she's trying to be pro radical and she's trying to open up her third eye. The bitches can't win because she's a black bitch. And you know what? And they don't see her as a human being, but they call her an angry black bitch because she's opinionated.
you
She
know
can't
what?
break down. She can't
I
cry. She can't do those things because she's never given a fucking chance. She can never be oppressed. She can never be depressed. She can never do those things.
She could never be educated. Because let me tell you something.
I'm
You
so
hit
sorry
something.
I'm in my
You
feelings
hit
and I didn't
something.
mean to yell at her for
No,
anybody.
no, no, no. You hit something right on the deck. Because let me tell you something. She cannot be educated because the one thing about it is if a black woman talks proper, oh, she must be equating to whiteness. Like black people are not educated enough. That's
oh
not
yeah, or
fucking
they'll
true.
say you're
When you have
talking
Harriet
white.
Tubman, when you have
What does
Ida B.
talking
Wells,
white mean?
Barnett, exactly. When you have Ida B. Wells, Barnett, Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman, so many people who have led the way for us in the black movement for us to be able to have access to certain things or whatever, it always equates to whiteness. I hate that. Oh, you speak
Mm-hmm.
so articulate. I fucking hate that. It really bothers me. It really, really bothers me. So you hit,
Well,
yeah.
see, you have to understand something. Like, and I've said this so many times before. Most millennials, um, I refer to them as the dumbed down generation, and it's not to be a read or anything. But when you mostly have like
That's a
a
read.
generation of people that have been raised by Siri and Google, and everything that they say or every move that they have to make, they have to pick up a phone and translate it. Then I've realized myself I have to dumb myself down. I've had intellectual conversations with guys where basically I'm telling them and reading them the rights act, and they will get back to me through text and say, "Hey, I ain't reading all that." And I realized that I have to start giving them this in little increments, little increments. But I agree with what Miss S. Child said, um, because it is the black woman that has always been put on this pedestal of like, oh, well, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. You can say that, but you can't say this. And I can I can under I can even understand where a lot of the anger from the Black females come from when they see a trans attracted man and he says that he's straight. And I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this. Honey, you are not straight. Anyone that is attracted to a trans woman is not straight. I don't care what you say. That is the problem there. But you're not gay either. You're somewhere in the spectrum. I don't think we've found a definition for that. Now, the anger comes from Black females because the fact that Black females do feel like, okay, I got to fight the white woman, the Hispanic woman, the Asian woman for my man. And now I got to fight for my own identity. And I got to figure out like what you are. And let me tell you why I think that they're so angry, the Black females. They're angry because of the fact that when you think about it, it's actually very selfish of these trans attracted men to say that they're straight. And I'm going to tell you what the visual is. The visual is that they have one foot in the kitchen, right here, one foot in the living room. And you can't have it both ways. You cannot have it both ways. And that's being selfish. That's being greedy. That means that you get all the perks of being straight, heteronormative. And then, after 12 midnight, those are the DL creep hours, or what we call out here the Eddie Murphy hours. Now I can get to do my dirt before 4 a.m. So basically, you go back home to your wife, and you can live your normal life.
Wait, why do you call it the Eddie Murphy hours? Hold on, I'm stuck on that.
I just caught that.
Why do you call it the Eddie Murphy hours?
Y'all just clocking Eddie Murphy today, calling all his tea out.
Actually, you know why.
No, we call it the Eddie Murphy. We call it the Eddie Murphy hours because of the fact that that is the time where everyone does their creeping. Like most of the celebrities that you would think, when you be creeping, they're gonna do their creeping like after 12 midnight, doing the Eddie Murphy hours. And it's also the time that he got caught with that trans woman years ago. So,
who later was murdered.
No, but she accidentally fell off the balcony of her hotel. We're gonna go with that. We don't have any proof because in the court of law,
girl, I stopped believing in Santa Claus at 7.
I believe it because there's been a couple of celebrities that I've run across that tried to do the same thing, especially one WWE wrestler who shall be nameless.
Well, I thought
here's the thing.
When Malik was on the Breakfast Club,
most girls need to realize about
that he actually name dropped the history of Black men. He name dropped the history of Black men that have been caught in scandals. Eddie Murphy, Teddy Pendergrass, Mr. C, and we have to add Young Buck, Bobby Valentino, and allegedly Chingy. We really don't have proof about that.
And status is out. He was so quick to mention Octavia. He was so quick to. I was like, "Why are you talking about?"
Can I say something?
He said he had been to the ball, child.
Go ahead, ball.
I just
call somebody's status out. All what
Sister Tia said. I do really have a problem with what Sister Tia said. I think that saying that okay, well, us as Black trans women that they over sexualize themselves, or kind of, it's almost saying that these sisters are doing things that are attracting this violence towards them, and they do drugs and things like that. White trans women sexualize themselves and show them their sexy selves. White trans women do drugs.
Gazi, let me
and
give you a different. Let me give you a different
That's not
visual.
the reason why there's violence being put on African and other colonized trans women. The reason why there's violence that can be put on them and y'all is because there is no systems of protection. And at the end of the day, a white trans woman still has the police on her side that a Black trans woman does not have. And somebody said, well, what is the end game? The end game is we as a people have to start creating systems and organizations to protect ourselves, because education is not enough. And sometimes education is an ass whooping. We need to come to, like in Atlanta, Georgia, we have a chapter in my organization, Black Hammer, where we are organizing a gun club and self-defense club for Black trans women and all of these people that call themselves allies.
Yes.
And
so girls need to learn how to access their own weapons.
We got to get somebody, we got to get people to go to the club with you. And if somebody want to try you, then they gonna have to face some repercussions. Because the reason why black men are attacking black trans women, they're not crazy, and it's not, it's not, oh, my masculinity, I just gotta attack a trans person. They not crazy, because if they know enough not to attack no white trans woman, they know enough not to attack her.
Wait, let me give you.
Because they know.
But you know what?
that
Black
power.
trans women need to start. Guys, he said something very, very powerful. Fuck all this self-defense and everything. Let's start getting black trans women to sign up in the states that they can and get some real protection for trade when he wants to try it. Because honey,
Girl, don't
all
flash,
it takes
girl.
is the one trade that
Girl,
you
you
one
cannot
time.
flash that on YouTube.
Girl,
But here's the thing.
She about to get the whole live
Well,
because these motherfuckers, they
you
want
gonna use
to
that
try
when
the
they
girl,
come.
and they're gonna meet the wrong
But you gotta
girl
but you
on the
gotta
right
also
day.
understand though. But you also gotta understand though, these girls that have been in the incarceration system, they can't carry guns. They can't always carry guns. And the thing is,
That's
you have to
true.
understand
That's
about
true.
these systems. You have to also understand
Are
about
these girls getting
systems.
killed in incarceration now?
These
Miss
systems
Giselle,
teach us to be complicit.
Miss
These
Giselle.
systems teaches us to be complicit in ways. Let me tell you something. When going back to what you were saying about systems, I always think about that equality versus equity picture. Well, you see three people looking over the gate at a baseball game. It's white supremacy at work, and let me tell you how. The guy that can actually see over the fence without having to stand on something helps the short person who has to stand on the box and still doesn't see anything. Helps them get over to the point where they can see over, but still is taller than them. That's how the system works. And we're pretty complicit in it, because those same systems that we're trying to demolish, we actually benefit off of. And that's funny, because I talked about this last year. We're complicit in a lot of these fucking systems because of how society expects us to be. Because you're a black person or a person of color, you're deemed inferior automatically.
I see that they're also trying to.
Wait a minute. Can I say
Things.
something? Can I say something? Let me tell you what's
Associate us for
dangerous.
being what?
No, I
I'm sorry,
want to
I
tell
missed
you
that.
what's dangerous, okay? And when I speak
Would you
about
say Fox? I'm sorry.
and when I speak about over sexualization and drugs and things like that, let me make this clear for you on what's dangerous for me and the games that are being played out here. And it's not always by us. My next door neighbor, a gay male, dresses up fucking in drag, okay, and gets on the computer, on the chat line, whatever he does, and meets boys, telling them that he's trans. I live directly next door to this man that's
I
dressing
can't
up
stand.
and having these boys, okay? So if she's playing with one of these boys and saying that I'm trans and all this stuff, and it gets back and this boy goes to say, oh, it's a tranny in that building or whatever, there, and if when I'm coming out the building or they're making that connection to me. They're saying because I am the trans woman that's identified that live in that building, not the gay guy next door to me that's dressing up in drag and playing and shit. And also, I live in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. The girls around me are, doing things with drugs and stuff, and just having and doing all type of things with these boys. So when I come out, they thinking that I'm one of these same types of girls, and they approach me in certain types of ways. This is what I'm speaking as a trans woman. It's a lot of things that we do not address. And I'm not attacking my own community, but I am addressing some of the real shit that goes on within the community and things that these girls are doing and these starter girls are doing. The girls that do sex work complain all the time about they not making the money that they used to make because these new bitches is sucking dick for $20 and shit. Bitches is not making $300 an hour like they was years back. So when I'm speaking about over sexualization and drugs and stuff and how that's contributing to the deterioration of this community, that's what I'm talking about. And I have to address that because certain types of people make it make it difficult and dangerous for all of us. If I got two girls around me within a 2 block radius that's fucking and sucking everything fucking around here because they high as shit, and then boys see me come out, that affects me too. So I have to address that. And that's what I'm talking about when I say that I'm not attacking my sisters. I'm the nakedest bitch you ever want to see. I'm a recorder. My fucking titties and shit stay out. Okay? So I don't feel like I should be attacked or raped because I have a sexual image. It's my style. It's how I feel most feminine. I feel affirmed. But when girls around me doing stupid shit and people dressing up and put on a wig and can't identify as trans doing stupid shit, that puts my life in danger. So I speak on that.
Here's
Right,
what.
that brings you actually dived into a situation that happens in the community with a lot of trans women. We befriend gay men, and we create this bond, and then all of a sudden our gay friends start dressing up in drag and putting that they're trans on profiles and meeting men, and a lot of gay men are actually doing this to get trade, and a lot of times they don't realize that it's all fun and games until you get killed, because a lot
Right.
of men, they're killing us. So
If the Trey say that girl up there tried to trick me in that building, he's coming out as a boy the next morning. I'm coming out, and if somebody identifies me as trans, I instantly become the target.
So we're gonna just not fight back, and because we can't really expect that law enforcement is going to have our back. That's why I said that we're going to have some realistic tactics that are going to basically protect us.
Well, I'm
And
from well, I'm
some
a
of us are
fighting
going to have to
cheating
be
bitch,
sacrificed some
so
land.
And rallying alone isn't going to help it. I'm
Huh?
sorry. It's just not. We can protest as much as we want.
You
It's
know why a lot of these
are a
crazy
movie
laws are
franchise out here for trans women. It's
I'm
like
going to say
surviving. It's like going through all the sequels. If you live past a certain age, and I know that's cliche, and I know a lot of girls live past 35. I know I'm one of them, but a lot of girls don't. And the killer, we know what the killer looks like, and,
yes.
and they're most likely the trade that feel some kind of way, and they feel guilty about liking us. And then, and you ever notice when there's a mugshot, they always have this dead, zombified look. Either they're happy that they killed one of us, or they sit there and tell the judge, and they got silver Chanel matching bracelets. I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know. Meanwhile, your DNA proves that you've been having your cake stabbed by this same girl, and you liked it. Then you go home after you had your cakes busted open, and you go home
Oh,
and you kiss your girlfriend on the mouth and your 6 baby mamas and kiss that baby. Or you
ain't
kiss
that
your
true?
girlfriend's baby and you trying to get that baby. But that's another facet of the DL world.
so I want
But
to
the
know,
gag is, who's killing us though? Who's killing us? Black
Who's
men.
killing who?
Who's killing black trans women? Black men.
Black cisgender male. They are the highest demographic. That is not a lie. That's just not. I'm not speaking an opinion.
It's
That's fact.
not. It's not.
Yeah.
But there our
This
community,
is what.
the
This is.
Caribbean community and the black community, it's embedded in them from fucking birth to hate these people. I was having a debate with a cisgender heterosexual male, and I said he's talking about children and stuff like this. I said the first time I was called a faggot was in kindergarten. Do you remember the first time you called somebody a faggot or you recognized that somebody was gay? So yeah, we can recognize, we know from an early age who the fuck we are, because you knew, because you was calling me a fucking faggot.
right? I was called gay before I knew what the hell it meant. Like
Baby, I
they
was
were
calling
like,
all
"You're
kind of
gay,
faggots
you're
from my
I
a
lived
mother
in
and my
girl."
Birmingham,
sister,
Alabama.
and from part one went to part two. If it wasn't that at home, it went to high school. I had enough of it. I had to slap somebody in the face with a book bag. I'm like, what is a fag? I had to learn at a young age, at 15 years old, and then a power stick. I got tired of it. And the same Butch Bunny, he was a white one. And he loved to call me all kind of ag fugs and stuff, and I got tired of him, and I punched him out, and then I got expelled for that. I saw him at a gay bar years later. I'm like, you motherfucker, who the fuck are you supposed to be? You calling me all kind of ag bugs, but you sitting there in the Butch Bunny bar, sitting there getting your little drink on.
Can I say
Come in
something?
our community whenever you want, but you need to excuse to make fun of us in high school. No, bitch.
I just want to say that I think that when it comes to us, especially us Black trans women, we have like double force trauma because it's the Black and then there's the trans. And it's funny because the fact that I grew up in Birmingham, Alabama, and I knew, how can I say, I dealt with the whole gay or the trans things before I dealt with the Black thing. I didn't even deal with the Black thing. Well, not face for it like that. I remember one time I was like 12 years old because I was a Black kid, and everyone was allowed to go into the house with all my white friends, and then his white mother had said, "Oh yeah, you can stay outside. We'll bring the cookies and milk out here." And I was like, "Oh, that's weird. Oh, okay." So it wasn't until I got older that I realized what that was about. So there was like little shady things that happened like that when I was growing up, but I didn't get called a nigger until I was 19 years old out here in Los Angeles, California. And I was walking down Melrose Street. And the first thing I said to myself is, wow, I'm happy I didn't get called a faggot, because that was what I was used to, And I think that that's a lot of the things that we deal with. We deal with that double trauma of being Black and being trans.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute you. Your mic is making a lot of noise.
Huh?
Oh, she muted herself. Okay, continue.
Yeah, I think we deal with a lot of that double trauma, and unless that's addressed, a lot of this is going to keep going. Because if you've noticed, these Black men are killing Black trans women, and we know these Black men are having with other women that are not Black. We know that.
And they're having with men,
especially in
like
America.
It's like, why? It's so crazy. A lot of
America with 3Ks, and we know that these Black men are rolling out the red carpet for others because they already have that self-hate in them. So,
Gazi, I want you to stop right there, Fox, because Gazi, I know that you on your social media pages, you get a lot of a lot of views. I think all your videos go viral. And you have a lot of you speak a lot about interracial dating and about interracial adoption. So like do you care to like share your thoughts about interracial dating and your thoughts on that?
Yes. Let me write that down so I don't forget. I wanted to say that when the question was raised, who is killing us? Who's killing, Black trans women? And the answer is Black men. We have to understand that the Black men that we see now was not produced a Black community or a Black power system. Those are Black men that have been produced by white power. Those are Black men that have been educated by a white power system. Those are Black men that have been listening to music that has been programmed for them by the CIA and FBI for them to do violence within their community. Because the number one killer of Black men is also Black men. And it's violence that we put on each other that is keeping us down. And it's called, they call it Black on Black crime, but it's really called horizontal violence. And it's what it does, horizontal violence, is when an oppressed person is doing damage or violence to another oppressed person and not the oppressor. And yes, there is this thing of like you're Black and you're trans, but the base of your oppression is because you are Black. That's why the list of trans women who have been murdered this year, last year, the year before that, the year before that, the year before that is a Soul Train line of Black trans women and other melanated trans women, and not white women, and not white trans women. Because again, they are still colonizers. They are still oppressors. You are just because you are a trans person does not make you as a trans slave master. The slave master and the slave do not have the same life, even if you have a trans slave master or the gay slave master and my gay slave ass do not have the same life. One is still living at the expense of the other. And everything that a white trans woman has, from not just the style, but the system, the opulence, the resources, at the expense of Black trans women. That is not your friend. That is not your friend. And about this I want to segue to interracial relationships. It's the same in interracial relationships. Until we have overturned this system, there is a power dynamic between a white, Black, or, and I always reference the analogy of, if you go to prison and you have a relationship with the prison guard, the judge, the law sees that as rape because of the power dynamics. That prison guard runs your life. That prison guard has access to the outside. You do not. There's a power dynamic there, and that power dynamic is also mirrored in real life. Would you love this white person? Would you want to be with this white person if you weren't produced by white power? If everything in you since you were born didn't tell you that white was beautiful and Black is ugly, would you still love this white person? Would you still love this white person if the privileges of you being with this white person? Because I'm gonna keep it funky. Because I dated one of the masters. I dated one of the honkies. I dated one of them. I did. And there was this thing in me of whiteness of parading him like, yeah, see, I was chosen by Tom. You know what I mean? Like, I'm chosen by Tom. And that chosen attitude also is mirrored in our society because, we're talking about Malik as this Black man, but the reason why it's like this thing that we won this trophy, like, look, you see, a Black, straight looking, straight acting man is attracted to trans women. It's like a trophy almost. Like, that means something. That makes Black trans women or trans women more valuable because this Black, straight appearing man finds them attractive. You know what I mean? And we have to find the power within us. And to my sister Blossom that says, well, not all Black trans women can have guns because they've been arrested and things like that. You are right. And that's why I said we have to build organization around the defense, meaning just so you can't have a gun, but guess what? Problematic realists can have a gun, and Aja can have a gun, and Ashley can have a gun, and we can form something to protect you, get you a taser. When you go to work, when you go to the club, we organize and go with you, and everybody that says they're an ally needs to assist with that, with that protection, because a genocide is happening. A genocide is happening of Black trans women. A genocide is happening. And no magazine cover, no pose, awards and none of those kinds of stuff is stopping the genocide. It's slowing it down at all. To me, it's speeding it up. It's making it even happen more.
I agree with that.
It's devastated. These people are making millions and millions of dollars off of the death of my trans sisters. Millions and millions of dollars off of it. And it's disgusting that they force us to see that as we're supposed to celebrate. We're supposed to celebrate that.
Black trans lives are more valuable when they're dead.
Gazi, I know you. There's something that you always say, and I actually agree with this. You say I'm Black, but I have been brainwashed to be white inside. That's something that you've said. How did you word it?
Oh, exactly, 100%, exactly. Long story short, there's this documentary about the Aboriginal people in Australia and how they have been maneuvered to be white. They take them from their villages and things like that, put them in schools and erase everything about them. And they asked this older Aboriginal man in Australia, what's his biggest fear? And he says, I ran into another Aboriginal person that's from my tribe. I tried to talk to them and they couldn't speak my language. They didn't know anything about their history, their culture, their land, nothing. It was just a white man in an Aboriginal body. And I said, damn, that's me. I'm just a white person. Everything in me has been designed in me by my oppressor. From the English I speak, from the way I see the world, I had to relearn to love myself. Jasmine Fox is speaking so much truth. As a dark-skinned Black person, have to re-love yourself. And problematic realists, I want to be honest, like you don't have to check your anger. Be angry and let everybody feel your anger, because your anger is educational as fuck and it's revolutionary as fuck. And we feel that, because this whole, like, when I see Janet Mock and all of them, and they're talking about the oppression and what's going on with transgender, and they're being so like this and like that. That ain't it. Like what's it is what's
Well,
going
you
on
know
in
what,
this
Gazi?
room.
It's so interesting because, like, I expressed this anger to Ashley. Ashley's a good friend of mine. And I told her this. I said, when I do this anger, and all they see is an angry Black trans woman. When you do it, they listen. They listen. Oh. Sometimes someone may not listen to the message when I say, you know what? There is not only genocide that's going on right now, but basically, there's erasure that's going on. Because I have to look at myself and I have to look deeply and say, why is it that we have laws now on abortion? And then someone else had told me that, because of the fact that there was some statistics that said that by the year 2035, that the whites will be the minority. And that was scary for them. So of course, like my home state, Alabama, they're going to start taking abortion. No, you don't need to get any abortions. We want you to keep that baby. So the first thing that you start doing is you start getting rid of the undesirables. And the undesirables would be the GLBTQ, because they can't reproduce. And then it's like a system. You start getting rid of the undesirables, and you start getting rid of the undesirables by having the other undesirables get rid of them. Hence the Black heterosexuals. If anyone's gonna take me out, it's gonna be a Black straight man before any white man. And honey, that's just the truth. So, and I'm gonna get really deep here, because all of the trans murders that have been happening lately, they have a very common variable if you have to look into it very, very closely. The woman, I believe, B Love, that got killed, there was also a rumor that she was messing around with a minor. Okay. And I believe the woman from last year, Isha Marie, she had said something on her live about, fuck you and your baby. And so basically, she got killed too. And then you have another trans woman, Kiana Blakeney, that was killed, and it was conveniently brought up during the newsreel. Yes, a month ago she was here for, dealing with a minor. So already all those things are strategically placed. So when the public hears this, they associate the pedophiles with the transsexuals.
Yeah.
So then you have this placement of these alleged pedophiles having their own day, saying like, we want equality, just like the trans and the gays want. And I say alleged because I feel like they were placed there. I feel like this is just another initiative by the conservatives to strategically put these things together. So guess what? It's the re-election year. So guess what? We're gonna get some laws changed. We're gonna make it illegal for people, these men going around here and playing pretend. We're gonna make it illegal. We're gonna start arresting them. So already you have the public backing, because already you have all of these little examples as leverage. So now you can start taking even more rights away. We took your rights away to be in the army, or we took your rights away to, now people can discriminate against you if you go into a homeless shelter. Now we're going to start taking even more rights away. And that's how you eradicate a community. Because already the community is fragile. So you get the Blacks to eradicate them. And then once you eradicate them, then you get the Hispanics to eradicate the Blacks. And I'm going to say this again. I was listening to that interview with Virginia where he was on the Breakfast Club, and he said that he got really angry when he was growing up when people would say, you should go back to Africa. And now he says, being in Africa, I don't think that's a bad idea. And I mean, to me, I'm just so sick and tired of this life, period, to the point where I'm more entertained about, going out of space to like Mars, or when they're going to start putting people on the moon, or so, if they're going to do that, because of the fact that living here in America, 3Ks, is very traumatic for me being a Black trans woman. You know, it's very traumatic. And I know that when I express this anger, someone else is going to, you know, do it and express it the same way, say it the same exact way that I said it. But they're gonna have something else attached to them. They're gonna have something attached to them called either celebrity or notoriety or the complexion for the protection. Because because that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. You know, after I'm dead or committed suicide or whatever like that, they'll probably have, you know, some other Black person.
Honey,
you know,
if we keep it real, hold on.
Message and the same
there was
way.
a light-skinned trans girl, you know, I'm not gonna name her, but that said something that's the very same words that Ghazi had once said, all white people are racist. And this light-skinned trans girl had said the same thing and made a whole career off of that statement. And that was the same.
Because she had the complexion for the protection.
And, you know,
you gotta understand that.
You know, she's a sister in another.
Protection.
Girl, Google. But I'm just saying the fact that, and, you know, it's no shade, but we're talking about erasure, and sometimes a dark-skinned person can say something, and then someone lighter skinned can say the same thing, and it's amplified because that photo has the complexion for the attraction too.
Yes.
You know, we look at pictures and we see light skin. Oh, she's beautiful. She's pretty.
It goes back to the
says,
for me commercial with the nappy hair, and all of a sudden she gets relaxing her hair, and now she's basically everything's nice, everything's silky, everything's silky, everything's
nice.
When
you made that comment before, because you made a video with that same title, right?
Sure.
I'm gonna tell you
what year did you make that video? Fox, I'm speaking to Ghazi. Hold on. So what did you say in that video?
When you step in your truth. This right here, this offends people. I'm not acceptable as this. This offends people. I put the wig back on. Oh, put your wig back on, bitch. Oh, put your wig. And what's so funny is that my hair, if I was to take it out and flat iron it, it is much, much, much longer than this bullshit here on my head. Bullshit. But due to the fact that I don't have the complexion for the protection, that I am raised in America,
we can't see the thumb, girl. The thumb.
This is not acceptable. That's all I gotta say. I'm getting mad thinking about this.
And you know what? A lot of that. So, did she just drop the mic?
She did. Yeah.
I did say this before I say anything else. That as a Black gay man to other Black gay men, that we have really failed our trans sisters in this whole movement. And I'm saying that to say, but when we were all living in the shadows, when we were all living, you know, in the Black market underground, it was Black trans women that housed me when my mother kicked me out. And it's Black trans women that have been housing Black gay boys and men when they were kicked out of their homes. It was Black trans women that taught us how to craft, how to make resources for ourselves because nobody wanted to hire us. Then Black trans women created, the ballroom scene and everything like that. And when Black gay men went into the ballroom scene, pushed these European normative beauty standards onto the bodies of Black trans women to the point where Black trans women were in basements doing all kinds of things to their bodies to be accepted in the ballroom scene that was created by them. You know, and we've never been there. We've never been there for y'all like y'all have been there for us since the beginning, before there was a magazine, before Ellen even came out. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, y'all taught us how to do the makeup and do the hair. We took it and we went to the celebrities and did it and didn't give y'all any coin, any recognition.
Right.
It is
Talk about
disgusting
that.
that we
Talk
have
about
not stood
that.
up and said
A
no.
lot of the celebrity stylists, makeup artists, and hairstylists, they started with trans women were their little personal Barbies and practiced on them. And now they're doing makeup for people like Rihanna and Beyonce and stuff. And we're still, a lot of us are still engaging in sex work. A lot of times people and our gay brothers, they get ahead and they leave the girls behind. They leave their trans sisters behind. It's like, sis, I don't need you anymore. I don't use you no more. And I felt that from a couple of my gay brothers. Like, when they're down and out, they want to come around. But once they, hit the lottery or got an opportunity, they're like, bitch, I'm gone. New phone, who's this? Like, bitch. And I noticed like when you have something going on, people want to come around too. So a lot of people on social media, you take a picture with someone, now people want to look for you. It's just, this whole clout thing is so real. Like it used to be a time where, there was none of this. You meet people, you make real connections. Now you got to be worried. Like, is this person being my friend because they want me to put them onto something? It's just we're in a really crazy time, and you got to really evaluate the people around you and the energy that they bring.
Period.
Right. Tia, you there, girl?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm appreciate the conversation. I'm glad that we're continuing to talk and bring stuff out and understand each other even more, and just be more open and to realize that we're collectively like the same, but we're individually different, and I just, I hear you guys. I hear the concerns. Aja, I really, really heard you today, and I just want to, be more open and understanding because my experience, has been a little different. And I think that I just see a lot of the trauma that we, cause each other. I remember, coming into my transition and, girls just presenting options to me as if those were the only options. And girls offering to take me to go get silicone, knowing that they having problems with their own silicone and, just different things like that. So we have a lot of healing that we need to do, ourselves, and
Right.
that's really what I want to see, so. Yeah.
Right. But like Gazi was saying too, like about how trans women created ballroom and then, it was just hijacked. And then now trans women have to prove themselves in ballroom by getting,
But
oh,
it's also
I gotta get my boy dance filled in. I gotta get pumped. I gotta get pumped. I gotta get pumped before the ball. And then knowing that they have all these complications just to walk and feel like a sex siren
it's that system that
Yeah.
for
tries
gay
to
men to
teach
judge
us.
you. I
It's
just,
that system that tries to teach us that we have to compete against each other. Just like what you were saying about the silicone thing, because one thing about it, oh, you gotta go get silicone. You gotta be the fishiest. If you're doing sex work, they only go with the glamour girls. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. It's that system that teaches us that we have to compete against each other. Like this is how I always look at it. I don't want to just generalize this. Like when we talk about people of color, it's like somebody throws a bone at the people of color. Okay, you got black people, you have Hispanic people, you have Asian people, you have these different groups of people all fighting for that one bone. And I have to step over my sister to try to get to that. I have to turn my back on my sister, my brother for that. It's systems that teaches us that. And it's like, how the fuck did we get out of that? How do we really, really get out of that and start coming together? Like, I had to learn, because one thing about me, like, I had to learn. I had to really learn, living in Mississippi. I know Fox was talking about being in Alabama. I was in Mississippi for 29 years. And so a lot of shit that I was taught, I didn't know was wrong until I started traveling, start meeting other people outside of the South. Because one thing about living in the South, you're complicit a lot to your learning because you're taught a lot of different things. And I know I saw a couple of comments. I was reading a few of the live comments in the thing or whatever, and they were talking about the South. And it's just that, and I'm not trying to make excuses for some of the behaviors that happen down there, but the thing is, if you are a certain color, whether you're Black, Mexican, whatever it is, you're just taught that you're just deemed inferior, that you're worthless, that you're not worth anything. And so it's up to you to really stretch out your thinking and really understand that, hey, I am fucking worth something because I am this. I truly do believe that we as people of color, we as trans people, we've been handed these challenges and these obstacles because we are some of the most resilient people that can deal with them, that can conquer, and that can really thrive. But it takes all of us standing together. And one thing about it is, I've been problematic. We've all been problematic within ourselves. Come on now, because we've had to heal, we've had to learn, we've had to grow. And the thing is, we got to keep that shit going. We have to. And I've had to learn in my healing, especially with over the last year, that, well, no, actually the last 3 years, I have to say, that a lot of shit that I was taught and a lot of my way of thinking has had to change because other people have been blessed to be in my life to help change that. And I've welcomed that change. I've been open to the healing. I've been open to cleaning the wounds that were holding me down. Like, I've just been open to that. And, you know, we talk about, there's just so many different layers within the Black community because it's like, you know, there's some things that I've been able to get as a trans person who has at least a little bit lighter skin versus my darker skinned trans sisters, you know, and I have to be mindful of that. And then the thing about me is I've been able to sit in certain spaces that other trans people have not been able to. And for me, I realize now that it was pretty problematic for me because I didn't get to speak up because I was benefiting from a system that was keeping us oppressed. And that's how that works. I'll be that token Black girl. And it's funny because I talk with a few of my other influencer friends and we have this conversation a lot that are Black. How we're always that one token person that always is in the space and we have to represent the entire community. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about.
Right.
The
right.
way
shout out to Shia, because our sister Shia Diamond is like, you know, she's
that's
a trans
my girl.
artist.
I love her.
She's a Black trans artist, R&B, pop singer, and she is literally moving in places around the world that Black trans women have never been. And
absolutely,
she challenges the fact that she's always the only Black person, not even the Black woman, the only Black person, period, in a lot of these rooms. And one of the quotes that she always says is, if I'm not at the table, then I'm on the menu. So I always resonate with that. Like, you know, a lot of people, they get that spot at the table and they just shut up. They're like, you know, and it's like,
because you don't, because you want to hold on to what little bit you have. And that's what I was at. And I was just like, when my trans brothers started talking about sitting at the table and how I used to be so complicit, how I would used to be so scared to say something because I was afraid of losing the little bit that I had. The little bit.
Right.
And the thing about it is about white supremacy and white people in general or whatever. They've always, sometimes they're our allies. Look at Harriet Tubman. Wasn't it white people that helped her move along the Underground Railroad that helped as allies? Some of them have always been our allies. And it's all about who you can trust. It really is about who you can all trust. And you know, it's about becoming part of the solution and not the problem. It really, really is. And, you know, we have to start shining our light, making our light brighter for each other and not feeling like that just because somebody else is coming up, that our light dims.
That's true. That's true. It's about leveling each other to equal footing. Not about you know, bitch, I'm up here, you're there, you know. But people, a lot of times we're watching these reality shows and a lot of the girls and a lot of the gay men, like we want to emulate what we see cis people doing on reality TV, like I'm that bitch, you know. It's just like all we got is each other, really, you know. Pamela, I know, thanks for coming back. I know you were here in the beginning and got lost in transit. But we can't hear you. We cannot hear you, sis.
Her blunt in hand.
No, we couldn't hear her. But I want us to I hope yeah, it's almost hitting 2 hours. I would love to get if another kind of conversation started again. But I know some people I'm seeing yawning and stuff, and people look a little, it's hitting that time. But I
It's
really
still
enjoy.
early out here.
It's 12 over here in New York, 12 a.m. Um, I really appreciated everybody coming on here and speaking. We may have not hit everything, but we made a lot of valid points, and just the fact that there is a genocide, there is a mission to, there is an agenda within the own Black community to kill each other, and Black trans women are just like the first to go. So, any closing arguments from anyone before we end this?
Um, I just want to say I think I want to go back to the point I was saying again about being on one accord. I think within the trans community, there's always been an unspoken hierarchy in the trans community of girls who have work and girls who don't. I remember there was a saying, no seal, no surge, no pass. And I notice now, especially here in New York City, since insurance is paying for a lot of the surgeries, now the girls are starting to attack each other and say, if you don't have bottom surgery, then you're not truly trans, and all of this stuff. So I just hope that we can come to a point where we could, kind of eradicate all of that foolishness, so we can really, come together and be one about who we are. And I feel like those of us that have been in a life and that's a little bit more experienced need to show love really to our younger sisters. It's really, really, and not to say that our lives is over, it's not, but a lot of us, we've lived and we've experienced, and we have to pass down positive things. We have a way of passing down the negativity, turning girls on to different things. But now there are other options and other things that we could do. And I just want to see us, be more uplifting to each other, especially us girls to one another.
Yeah. I just want to say that this was absolutely good. This is good that and everybody is beautiful. Everybody's got their own look and everybody's got their own experience, and that we need more of this. In terms of realness, I just have one quick question. What has your realness done for you? If you are so quick to call a girl a brick, there's something in your life that you are lacking. In Hector Extravaganza, rest in peace. He said, don't, he used to say all the time, don't read the children, teach the children. And a lot of people are so quick to say, I'm washed face, or I'm cunty, I'm real, I got surge, I got body, I get over his fish. And, they're hunting down, they're killing the real girls, they're killing the realness girls. You see the list of beautiful
Exactly.
girls over and over and over that are gone. And they're nobody's spook magnet. They're nobody's clockable magnet. So this hierarchy of realness, I mean, it's not stopping anything. You see the gender nonconformants are out here turning and making money down. And you see the beauties out here struggling. And I know, and
Speak on it.
I know what it's like to be homeless. I know what it's like to live in something like this, but it doesn't make me any better. But there are so many girls out here that don't have two of nothing. If you see somebody out here that is struggling, if there are both queens, if there are gay men, I'm not gonna say both queens anymore, gay men out here, and you see trans women that are being attacked by cisgender people, help them. Help them. Never mind how real somebody is, because these men out here, they don't care about the titties. They don't care how big your titties are. They don't care if they go like this and you see no makeup and there's no crunch under there. They just care about if it works down there. And then they exploit the girls on the fact that if it works, and they use them just for that body part. We are more than just a body part. We are more than just being trans. We are the surmise of our experiences. We are the relation of everything that we go through. And I think that's what we should have more in common. And I thank y'all for letting me speak. Everybody, thank y'all. So nice to meet everybody.
Right. It was nice to
Thank
meet you
you.
too.
Yes,
I just
baby.
want to say because I've been gone for a long time. I I agree with you wholeheartedly. I don't know really what a conversation is, but I can speak on what I want to see in the future for trans women and for the LGBT community and everybody involved is just plain old success and everybody
Yeah.
going after what they really want and the access to it being available. I like Ghazi said, I want to see organizations formed. I want people to really get on the ball and get some business about themselves and go into these lobbies with their head held high and apply for jobs and get them. But that is something I did want to say while I was watching because I was backstage watching y'all.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to echo something that my good sister Ashley Marie Preston always says. You can't heal what you don't reveal. And I think it's really time for our community to really heal, to really start working on ourselves. And, I too, because I definitely want to be a part of the solution. I just really, really think that we are so resilient. There's so much more to us than just our transness. There's just so much to us because guess what? We can thrive, we can survive. We're your doctors, we're your lawyers, we're your teachers. We're so talented. There's so much about us. I do believe in the divine. I believe that we are put on this particular journey because we are really the ones that's able to make a difference in this world, and we're able to teach people who don't have such a kind heart to treat people who are different as them as with kindness and respect. I believe in us, and I hate that we're so divided, but it's also important to acknowledge these issues and work on better solutions. And it's gonna all about us coming together. We don't have to stump on each other to get to the top. We can all make it. We can all sit at that table, and all of our lives can shine. I don't mind putting a crown on my sister's head. If there's something that I have that maybe can help her along the way, or my brother as well too, or someone who doesn't even um identify with the binary. If there's anything that I could do to help, let me be able to do that. Let me be in the good graces to do that. That's my way of thinking. I'm trying to be on this abundant path, but I do mess up just like anybody else does, and we just got to get better. And I do believe that if we just call each other to the table and just really, really have those conversations, I think it will be such a powerful thing. That's just me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Any final words, Ghazi?
I just really want to appreciate being asked to be here, being able to have a voice in this conversation. Because again, I have
Oh,
to
right. Hold
recognize
on.
that.
People in the comments kept asking, "Are you transgender?"
Yeah. They were.
Oh no.
So yeah, Ghazi is an
Thank you for the
ally.
compliment. But but yeah, because I have to come from a humble place and a place of self criticism because again, we as Black gay men have not offered, our trans sisters this same kind of
Mm-hmm.
space, this same kind of a culture of openness that y'all have always opened up for us. And my message, I don't have a message to tell to Black trans women, but I have a message to tell to my Black gay men is to step it up, to really step it up for our sisters. Um, really, 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 because even to this day, I know Black gay men that they'll be your friend, they'll be a Black trans woman's friend in dark, but they don't want to walk with her, in the mall and all this other kind of stuff and all that other kind of nonsense. And we really have to step it up. We really have to offer a severe self-criticism because Black trans women have been our life savers. Again, I don't know a Black gay man who doesn't have a story of a Black trans woman not giving them a place to stay, something to eat, and clothing. I don't know one, and we have to step it up. We have to step it up.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, I want to thank you all in the chat for watching and leaving your comments. Make sure you thumbs up this and share because algorithm and erasure is real. Let's talk about it. And turn on notifications because people never, they just we're all the way down there on your list when on subscriptions. Like, and it's like even YouTube and all these social media forums and apps, it's like a machine. The more like with the algorithm, you have to keep on going live in order to even show up on someone's feed. So even though there was only probably 30 or 40 people that kept coming back and forth, we appreciate you and thank you for tuning in. But give us a thumbs up, okay? And leave your comments. I want everyone to have a good night and everyone stay safe.
Ashley, can I just say before I go, I just really want to
Bye.
appreciate you, Ashley, in holding down this space for so long through everything that you have been through. You have been a huge inspiration for me. You have been a force of nature that has never, ever, ever, ever stopped. And that is huge. That is so huge because a lot of people do it for the clout, a lot of people do it for the bag. You have always done it for the culture, you have always done it for the people. And I
Thank
just
you.
really, really appreciate you. You have been so meaningful for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm humbled by that. Thank you so much. So we'll talk. I love you all. Have a good night. Bye.
Good night.
Black power, y'all.